When you picture a great innovator, a revolutionary, a true non-conformist, what do you see? You probably picture a fearless, confident, risk-taking genius. Someone who drops out of college, bets their entire life savings on a wild idea, and leaps into the unknown without a safety net. But what if that picture is a complete myth? What if the world's most original people are often filled with doubt, surprisingly cautious about risk, and even masters of procrastination? This is the surprising, evidence-based, and deeply liberating truth at the heart of organizational psychologist Adam Grant's brilliant book, Originals. This book is a scientific investigation into how novel ideas are born, how they are championed, and how any of us can become more original. Today on Geeky Philosopher, we're going to debunk the myths of the creative genius. We will explore the hidden habits of mind that truly move the world, and learn that originality is not a rare gift, but a choice that is available to all of us. The journey of an original thinker doesn't begin with a brilliant idea. It begins with a moment of curiosity. It begins with looking at a familiar part of the world, a default setting that everyone else takes for granted, and asking, why do we do it that way? Grant introduces a powerful concept called Vuja day. It's the opposite of déjà vu. Déjà vu is when you look at a new situation and it feels familiar. Vuja day is when you look at a familiar situation as if it's the very first time you've ever seen it. This is the mindset of the original. They've cultivated the ability to see the world with the fresh eyes of an outsider. The founders of Warby Parker looked at the familiar, overpriced eyeglass industry and asked, why does this have to be so expensive? The creators of Airbnb looked at the hotel industry and asked, what if the best place to stay in a city is in a real person's home? They questioned the default. This is the first and most important skill of an original, the willingness to doubt what everyone else accepts as a given. One of the book's most counterintuitive and liberating ideas is about timing. We're taught that procrastination is the enemy of productivity. But Grant's research shows that, when it comes to creative work, strategic procrastination can actually be a powerful asset. When we rush to finish a creative project, we tend to seize on our first, most conventional ideas. We just don't give our minds enough time to make novel connections. Original thinkers, on the other hand, often deliberately pause between starting a project and finishing it. Martin Luther King Jr. was still rewriting his "I Have a Dream" speech the night before the March on Washington, allowing new ideas to marinate. Leonardo da Vinci started the Mona Lisa in 1503, but he kept tinkering with it for years, only finishing it shortly before his death in 1519. This period of incubation, of letting a problem sit in the back of your mind while you work on other things, is when our brains are free to engage in divergent thinking. It allows us to make surprising connections and arrive at more creative solutions. The lesson is not to procrastinate on everything, but to be willing to pause and let your best ideas ripen. This is the biggest myth the book busts. We have a romantic image of the entrepreneur who risks everything, who burns the ships. But Grant's data shows that this is the exception, not the rule. The most successful originals are not risk-takers, they are risk-mitigators. They are experts at balancing their risk portfolio. They take a huge, radical risk in one area of their lives, but they balance it by being extremely cautious and stable in all the other areas. The founders of Warby Parker, who were revolutionizing an industry, didn't drop out of school. They started the company while they were still in their MBA program. Bill Gates, while developing the software that would become Microsoft, was still a student at Harvard, and only left when he had a major deal secured. Many successful entrepreneurs and creators kept their day jobs for years, using that stable income as a safety net that gave them the freedom to be truly creative and daring in their side projects. They are not fearless gamblers. They are smart investors who are hedging their bets. Having a great idea is one thing. Getting other people to believe in it is another. Originals are often faced with a skeptical audience. So how do they win people over? One powerful technique is to anchor your novel idea to a familiar one. When the creators of the movie Alien were pitching it to studio executives, they didn't describe it as a groundbreaking sci-fi horror film. They pitched it as Jaws in space. Another counterintuitive strategy is to highlight the weaknesses of your idea. When you are trying to persuade a skeptical audience, they are already looking for the flaws. If you lead with the flaws yourself, you disarm them. It shows that you are smart, honest, and trustworthy. You're not trying to sell them a fantasy. This makes them much more receptive to hearing about the strengths of your idea. Being an original is not just an intellectual exercise, it is an emotional one. It requires the courage to go against the grain, to challenge the status quo, and to face the possibility of failure and rejection. Grant's research shows that originals are not fearless. They feel the same doubt and anxiety as everyone else. The difference is how they manage it. They understand that the pain of regret for not acting is often far greater than the pain of trying and failing. They also understand the power of building alliances. They don't just charge ahead alone, instead they find a small group of trusted allies, what Grant calls disagreeable givers, people who are critical and tough, but who have their best interests at heart. These are the people who will give them the honest feedback they need to make their ideas better. Originality is not a solitary act, it is honestly a courageous act of community. Originals is a deeply liberating and empowering book. It's, a powerful antidote to the myth of the creative genius. It frees us from the paralyzing belief that you have to be a special kind of person, fearless, brilliant, a massive risk-taker, to have a new idea and change the world. The truth is, originals are just like us. They're full of doubt, they're cautious, they procrastinate. But they have learned to cultivate a set of powerful habits of mind. The habit of questioning the default, the habit of strategically managing their risks, the habit of championing their ideas with intelligence, and the habit of finding the courage to act in the face of fear. Originality is not a fixed trait, it's a free choice, and it is a choice that is available to every single one of us. This book is a playbook for anyone who has ever had an idea and wondered, what if? It is a call to stop waiting for permission, to stop waiting for a bolt of lightning, and to start the quiet, courageous, and practical work of bringing your own ideas to life. If you are a non-conformist, a questioner, a builder, if you believe in the power of ordinary people to do extraordinary things, then you are an original. Consider subscribing to Geeky Philosopher, a community dedicated to exploring the ideas that move the world. Thank you for being here.